How's it going, everyone? On this Versus series, we are putting Marvel Cosmic Invasion versus Shredder's Revenge. So first off, we're going to talk about the good and bad for Shredder's Revenge. I think there's a lot of good with Shredder's Revenge. I believe, and I think a lot of people can contest to that, Shredder's Revenge reignited the interest and love for beat 'em up games in the modern genre. I think beat 'em up games were kind of probably dead for a long time, but I think the first resurgence was Scott Pilgrim, and that was like the stepping stone for Shredder's Revenge. And I think Shredder's Revenge really blew it out of the water and said, hey, we can make great games. People are going to love these games. And I think beat 'em up games are here to stay. I think it really pushed that narrative, and a lot of people were on board with it. They missed this style of game. They missed the beat 'em up genre. They wanted this for a very long time, and now they could play it and have a fun time with it. And I think Shredder's Revenge really succeeded on that with the gameplay. The gameplay feels amazing. You get a bunch of different ultimates. You can level up and, get different specials. I think that's an awesome mechanic to the game. Gets you wanting to level up these characters, get different skins as well. And they also added like the tag team combo where you if you and your player press the same button at the same time, you guys are able to do like a cooperative attack with one another. I think that it pushed the boundaries on what you could do for a beat 'em up game and keep the excitement flowing. And I think the combat is amazing in this game. Gameplay is key in beat 'em up games, and I think Shredder's Revenge really pushed it out of the water with its gameplay, and I loved it. I love this game. I love playing through it. I love trying out different characters, even when the DLCs were amazing, but we're not going to really talk about that much. We're just going to talk about the base game and when it came out initially, because it's only fair for Marvel Cosmic Invasion. But the base game, awesome. Like I said, I think it revived and gave hope to players that grew up with the beat 'em up genre and say, hey, these games are here to stay, and they're going to sell well, and they're going to play well. And I think a lot of people trusted and loved tribute games in that way. They delivered a great product with Shredder's Revenge. So let's talk about replayability. It was there. I think replayability was nice with Shredder's Revenge, but for long-term replayability, I think the arcade was a bit too long. I think it's about a 2-hour arcade session. So if you want to just dip and dive in this game, you can't really do that. You can't really dip your toe into Shredder's Revenge. You have to commit for the long haul. And if you wanted to do a lot of modifiers for your runs, you really got to commit and you really got to lock in. So for a person that wants to jump in for like 30-40 minutes, I mean, you can do that, but you're not going to be able to finish the arcade mode in time because it takes a bit of time. I think there's like 16, 17 stages, 6 to 8 minutes long. So it's going to take some time for you to get through it, because I think this campaign is a bit longer than Marvel Cosmic Invasions is. That's the only issue I had, was that it's going to be a time sink, so you can't jump in and out of it. It's not like a 45-minute run with like Absalom. It's like a 1.5 to 2 hour lock-in that you have to do with Shredder's Revenge. And that's why I think Absalom's replayability is so high. It's because if you have 30 minutes to 45 minutes, you can complete a run. Depending how quick you are and how fast you are like choosing your abilities, you could be in and out pretty quickly, just like a Night Rain or something like that. But for these kind of games, even for Marvel Cosmic Invasion and Shredder's Revenge, you have to commit the time to. And if you have that time, like at least 2 hours, this game is going to be awesome. And if you enjoyed the gameplay, which I enjoyed a lot, you're going to have a fun time. That's just one gripe I have with the game. I know a lot of people are going to say, no, it's a perfect run, but it at least takes like an 1.5 to 2 hours to complete the arcade. And so you just have to commit that time. But everything else, movesets, awesome. Gameplay, chef's kiss. I think it's better than Marvel Cosmic Invasions in my point of view. And just like the different supers that you could do, you have like 3 different specials that you could do, like a stationary one, you have a running one, and then you have a jump special. So you had 3 different ways to proc your special, and versus the one that you only have with Marvel Cosmic Invasion currently at this state of time. This gives you that much more gameplay and usage of a super and how you want to play and how you want to attack and defeat these enemies. It gives you that much more liberty to do so. I've been recently playing a lot of Shredder's Revenge on stream, and I just say, dang, I really missed that. But then I did an arcade playthrough. I was like, okay, now I see where the time sink is. And I think the DLC for Shredder's Revenge really helped this game a bunch, because it gave you a chunk where you have like a boss rush mode or a roguelike mode or survival mode, whatever it was. You don't have to commit a bunch of time. You just try to go as far as you can. And I think that really helped the replayability for this game. But we're going to omit that for now. but we're just going off base. Also, the characters are iconic, like I said in the beginning. You have April, you have Leonardo, you have Michelangelo, you have Donatello, you have Splinter, and then you get to unlock freaking Casey Jones after you beat the game, I believe. So Casey Jones is there off launch. But I gotta say, it was awesome that you were able to play 6 characters in this game. You were able to join up and play online and have 6 different characters be on your party versus like the common 4 that is usually like for many beat 'em up games. Usually like 2, 4, but you never see 6 playable characters at once on the screen. And I think it made the maps pretty wide, so that was a feature. And I think they really looked into that, say, hey, if we want 6 characters on the screen, we got to make these little stages bigger and there's more verticality to them. And they definitely did that. Also, I got to say, you can share life in this game. I like the team up clap hand feature. Like you accidentally took a pizza and your buddy's health is low. You're like, oh, my bad. And you just clap and give some of your health away to your buddy that is in need of it. I like that mechanic. They didn't have that in Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Also, I got to say that I enjoyed the enemies more in Shredder's Revenge. Maybe that's because I grew up with these like foot soldiers and stuff like that, and I know these enemies well in the Ninja Turtle universe. But I don't know, I just like them better. There's a lot more happening, a lot more uniqueness to these enemies, and we got that from it. All right, so that's all I got to say about Shredder's Revenge. Let me know what you think. On to Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Let's go. All right, guys, so let's talk about the good and the bad for Marvel Cosmic Invasion. First off, let's talk about the negative. And I think a lot of people can contest to this and have agreed, judging by my comment section whenever I post a video about Marvel Cosmic Invasion. The replayability, it's not here. Especially off launch, this replayability isn't the highest. A lot of people said that they played through the campaign once and never really felt the urge to play it again. I played a lot. I definitely think the replayability lies behind co-op and having other people with you as you play the game. I think that's the only way I'm able to play a ton of it with you guys and playing it on stream, because it definitely feels better when you play it co-op versus playing solo. There's not really a drive to play it solo. It's just co-op is the way to be in this game. With that said, there's not much chase content in Marvel Cosmic Invasion. There's not like different supers or specials that you could chase in this game like Shredder's Revenge. Shredder's Revenge, you had 3 different specials. 3 different specials. In this game, you just have 1 special. You do have a tag system in this game, and that's pretty cool. But does it really push gameplay that much forward? It's a cool concept. I wish they dive deeper into it. Maybe do like what they did with Double Dragon Gaiden, because I think the tag system is better in that game than this game. So I think Marvel Cosmic Invasion really suffered from replayability and the factor to want to play this game over and over. Hopefully they fix that with future DLCs, future updates, that they add more content. So you want to chase something. You want to have the highest score. You want to have more fun with your friends, and maybe in smaller chunks that you don't have to commit, it's an hour to an hour and a half to play the arcade. Maybe have that, just like a boss rush mode, maybe a challenge mode, maybe, something like that, survival, maybe add a roguelike element to it, whatever it might be. I think a different mode that will enhance the gameplay more will definitely boost up replayability for Marvel Cosmic Invasion, especially at its current state right now. So let's talk about the good. We had a bunch of characters off launch. This is a huge IP, especially in Marvel. Ton of different characters, a ton of different heroes that you could put in this game. And this is one of the games that had the biggest roster ever off launch. You have 15 heroes off launch. If you played the story mode, you had to unlock a few of them, but you had 15 characters off launch. When have you ever seen 15-man roster on a beat 'em up game on launch? We haven't seen that. We haven't seen that before. And we got that in this game. I think that's a real plus for this game, because I think if they came out with less heroes, I think a lot of people would kind of be pissed. But we had 15 characters off launch. I think the gameplay is decent in Marvel Cosmic Invasion. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. It feels good. Probably with some characters feeling better than others. In my opinion, I believe Captain America probably has the best feeling gameplay out of all the characters. In my opinion, I could be totally wrong. Maybe you love another character, but I feel like he's the most well-rounded, and you can really use his utilities to the most, and he just feels great to play. I mean, all the characters feel good to play, but I think he supersedes a bunch of them, maybe just by a little bit, not by a lot, but he definitely feels great to play. The gameplay is cool in this game. Could it be better? Maybe. Could it feel more impactful? Yes, because I think the gameplay in Shredder's Revenge kind of shined brighter than Marvel Cosmic Invasion, maybe because they had a lot more characters to work on versus Shredder's Revenge that didn't have the time. So hopefully maybe in a future update, they could make things a little more punchier, make things feel a little bit more weightier. I really hope to see that in a future update. That would be pretty cool because I don't think that will take much, resources to do, but they are currently working on Scott Pilgrim EX. So will we get all hands on board? Who knows? Will we get a DLC in the near future, or will we get a DLC for this game in April like I predicted coming with the physical copy? But more good things about it. Going through the story for the first time felt amazing. It was a great first time playthrough. The story was pretty cool, and just experiencing this world like just any other beat 'em up game felt great to play off rip. I think it felt pretty awesome. Stages felt cool. I wasn't too big fan of the enemy types, but goes with the lore. The Sentinels were pretty cool. I did enjoy the Sentinels, but I had an awesome time with this game, and playing it off launch, I enjoyed it immensely. Maybe because I was playing with you guys and playing it with a bunch of other people, it just brightened that experience for me, but I had a blast. I said this game is great. Can it be better? 100%. This game has a bunch of potential, and it only could go up from here. I think it has to match what Shredder's Revenge set the precedent for, in my opinion, and hopefully more stuff comes out with it. I believe that if off launch, if I put these two games up together, I would put Shredder's Revenge above it, just because there was just some chase in that game. And in this game, there's not really much chase. Whether if you want just different skin types, there was not really any game-changing chase to go for. As you leveled up in Shredder's Revenge, you gained different shaders, you gained different abilities that you could use on the field. Overall, it just felt better. And I think that's what it comes down to, just putting both games up to when they first launch, which game felt better to play. If you had a little less time, maybe Marvel Cosmic Invasion would be the game for you to play through arcade mode, because its arcade mode doesn't last as long as Shredder's Revenge does. So if that's a key interest to you, to a quick in and out game, probably Marvel Cosmic Invasion will be that game for you. But if you want just strictly gameplay feel, Shredder's Revenge takes the cake for me. It just feels better. It plays better. It just gives you more options, and like the tag team system in that game too. If you and your buddies are able to coordinate it, I think it's pretty cool to pull that off as well. It just feels better. And I wasn't a big fan of Marvel Cosmic Invasion's phases where you have to break down a shield and then fight the boss, break down the shield and do damage, break down the shield and do damage. I think 90% of the bosses had that mechanic to them, and I wasn't a big fan of that. Let me do damage, let the boss do some intricate moves I know I have to avoid, rather than beating down a shield and then taking damage from that boss. Let me get the gameplay and make smart moves. So for me to really beat up this boss fast, I have to really know the boss and take it on from there instead of having to beat up a shield. I think all in all is this: what game had the best memorable bosses and what bosses felt the best to fight against. And I think Shredder's Revenge takes that cake. And I think versus Marvel Cosmic Invasion, not having that memorable bosses, not even the last boss really felt cool versus Shredder. All right, guys, so that's it for me. Let me know your thoughts. Give me the pros, give me the cons on both of these games. Let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear. I think this is more apples to apples comparison, because they are both made by Tribute Games, and most of the same developers that worked on Shredder's Revenge worked on Marvel Cosmic Invasion, versus what I did in the past when I put Marvel Cosmic Invasion versus Absalom. I think this is more apples to apples versus apples to oranges when I put those other two together. All right, guys, so now I leave it up to you. Give me your positives and give me your negatives on both of these games, and what would you guys like to see more from MCI or Marvel Cosmic Invasion? They have to release more modes before they even think about releasing more characters, or maybe they release characters with different modes. It's an uphill battle, but I think that game has such great bones that they could make something great. I believe in Tribute Games. They made an amazing gem of Shredder's Revenge, and adding that survival-esque mode really brought the replayability back to me, and even leveling up these heroes all over again to get different attacks, to get your supers back, to get different skins, to get stronger. It felt great to do that all over again, especially with a smaller chunk of time that you need to do that versus committing 2 hours just to beat. So MCI has a lot to work with. Hopefully we get to see some cool DLCs and cool updates with that game. I have hope. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, give a thumbs up, give subscribe. And if you guys want to stay in touch when I do drop content, click that bell notification down below, because it will mean so much to me. I love both games, but as of right now, I think MCI has a lot to work towards to match what Shredder's Revenge was in the beginning and what it has become right now in its current state. All right, guys, take it easy. Until next time, peace.